started. Hi, we're here with Pat Davis, who's running for Bernalillo County Sheriff. Welcome to the show, Pat.
Thank you.
First question off the bat is you're big on the community policing deal. So what would that look like under an administration you run?
Well, I think every candidate on the Democratic side has touched on community policing one way or the other. But I have to tell you, from my standpoint, I come from a background where most people here know me from the district attorney's office and from the university, from UNM. And my background in both of those places has been about bringing people outside of the traditional law enforcement circle together to accomplish problems that law enforcement has traditionally challenged. So of anybody there, I think I've had the most experience applying those principles here in Bernalillo County. So I'll give you an example. At the university, when I came to UNM from Washington, D.C., we came in at a time when campus shootings and school safety had become a big issue with Virginia Tech and NIU and others. And so we made a commitment very early to reach out and be ready to respond and keep our community safe above and beyond and ahead of the standards that other agencies were doing. So we reached out not only to APD and the Sheriff's Department and the state police and our traditional organizations that we would normally think about how to respond to those issues, but we also reached out, and I reached out and developed a community policing program where we would talk to students and teachers and employees of the school to talk about what our responses would be, how they can help us, what their role should be when something like this happens. And we expanded beyond that and used those connections to employ what we called an eyes and ears program, where we trained our maintenance staff and our physical plant staff to be aware and be on the lookout for suspicious people, because there were more of them on the streets than there were cops, and they were all over campus and all over our community off campus. And we trained them to look for things that were unusual, people that didn't belong, and to how to report that to law enforcement. And as a result, we saw crime go down and our involvement from the community go up. So they took ownership in what we were talking about. And that's what I do still here at the district attorney's office now, where not only are we educating the public about the issues and how law enforcement and the courts and corrections work together to move someone through the system, but also how do we bring in some community support groups that can address the underlying issues. For instance, we have the Family Advocacy Center that addresses domestic violence, not only from prosecuting the offenders, but also giving help to the victims and helping them move forward, either with religious community charities or Hispanic language and Hispanic-oriented community charities. Whatever organization fits their need is the most appropriate resource that they need to solve our problem. And community policing just means that a cookie-cutter approach doesn't work. Not in one neighborhood to another, not one family to another, and not one person to another. Everybody deserves individual